Welcome to Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you retire with purpose and live with joy. Find more information, including how to reach the team, in today's show notes. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens, powered by Ricken Financial.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening to Kick In with the Rickens podcast. We are here with licensed insurance professional Gerry Ricken. My name is Mark Owens. We invite you to get more at rickenfinancial.com. You can get all the information here in the show notes. Thanks again for subscribing. Now, let's get to the show. Talking about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. All right, here's one for you, Gerry Ricken. The best funds to withdraw from are a Roth or a Roth IRA investment fund. How is that a misconception?
One of the biggest questions we have is, how do I even start with an income plan? And how do I design something that supplements my Social Security so that I do have the amount of income I need to cover all of my expenses and to do the fun things that I want to do throughout retirement, and make sure that, everything's taken care of? Well, a lot of people will come in and say, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Roth first because that won't cause me any income tax in retirement on those funds, or I will use my investment portfolio that I've built up and I've got some money in cash. I'll use that first because I want to reduce taxes. That really may not be the best way to do that. And why do I say that? Here's why I say that. If you have built up a lot of 401k and IRA money in your lifetime, and most people have, because that's where most of us started our careers in the 401k world, and we just let it ride, and Roth wasn't available, and we have a lot in traditional. And when we do reach required minimum distribution age of 70 or 73, the IRS is going to dictate that we need to start taking money out of that and pay tax on that. Why wait? Because if you wait, that tax train may hit you really, really hard when you're 73 or 75, and it doesn't stop there. Each year after 73 or 75, and by the way, 73 is that those people born before 1960. 75 is the date you must take required minimum distributions out if you're born in 1960 or later. But why does a train not stop at those ages? Well, the tax train doesn't stop at those ages because it increases in velocity. It hits you harder and harder and harder each year you age up, because the amount you must take out of those funds is based on your life expectancy, which is dictated by the IRS. The IRS says you start at about 4% of your portfolio that you must take out and pay tax on it, but it goes up to 4.2, 4.8, 5.6, 7, 12, 15. The percentage goes up as you age up because it's based on your life expectancy. So the amount you have to take out will be increasing, because if you think about it, if you have a portfolio that has a 401k or IRA in it, and you take about 4% out when you're age 73, 4, 5, well, what if you made 10% in that portfolio? There's an extra 6% you didn't take out. So your portfolio balance in total increases for the next year, and the 4% increases. The amount you have to take out increases. So it's a double whammy. You're making more money, which is a great thing, but the IRS says we're going to dictate you need to take even more of that out the following year, which creates more taxes. And that's why I call it the tax train. It's coming at you. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, only it's a train coming right at you. It's called taxes. So what we want to look at is, how do we use the money in retirement? How do we use it smartly from a tax planning perspective? Mm-hmm. And when you withdraw funds from a Roth first, you're just deferring and deferring and deferring our tax train problem that we just talked about. So why not take those funds out first, the ones that we've deferred, pay tax on them, and structure your life so that if we are retired, we're no longer earning a paycheck. Maybe we're getting Social Security. Maybe one or two of you is getting Social Security. Why not take taxable funds out? Because we're at lower tax rates right now. Yeah. And we can build up to that tax rate that we're comfortable with and use those funds to live on day after day after day, and not take the Roth money that we've worked so hard to convert and do all those things, or put money into our Roth, through our working years, don't use that money first, because the other money is a smarter way to spend because of what's coming down the road when the tax train is going to hit.
Here's another myth, another misconception in retirement for you, Jerry. It's better to take a lump sum of my pension payments. That's the best option. How is that a misconception?
We've had people come in and state that, Mark, that I'm just going to take a lump sum of my pension. And we start looking at their pension plan, and their pension plan is very, very financially sound. And that's the most important thing you can look at when you look at a pension plan. How sound is it financially? Is it funded? Is it fully funded? Is it underfunded? If it's underfunded, that may be a good option. Mm-hmm. But most pensions we look at are very, very well heeled in their funding. They are structured properly. There hasn't been any misconduct in the management of the funds, and they are very, very well seated from a ability to pay for the rest of your life. And that's what a pension is a payment for life, pays you every month, month after month after month. And if you're blessed with a pension that has survivor benefits in it, when you leave this earth, your survivor will receive those benefits, whether it's 100%, 75%, 50%, whatever the percentage of the survivor benefits is, if that's what your survivor will receive. To state that I'm just going to take a lump sum and not do payments for life is probably short-sighted if you don't really understand the decision-making process. And if someone is telling you, hey, let's take the lump sum and forget the payments for life, they may be doing you a disservice, and they may be after just the funds after in management as opposed to what's best for you. Because what's best for you is, and Mark says it, you say it the best, Mark, income is the outcome that matters most in retirement.
Amen.
And pension payments for life with a fully funded pension plan, you can't beat those, because as long as you are alive or your survivor is alive, that pension payment will be there. It will pay you month after month after month after month after month, just like Social Security. So that's why we do a thorough analysis when we run up against a pension plan, because we want to make sure that you make an informed decision. And how do you make that decision? Some pensions have a partial lump sum. Some pensions have different various survivor benefits in them. Do you pick 100% survivor benefit? Do you pick a 50% survivor benefit? Do you pick a 75% survivor benefit? What does that do to your monthly payment? And how much money do you and your spouse need if you're married, or do you need if you're single on a monthly basis to make the plan work? You add that to Social Security, and those that were previously not eligible for Social Security, the law changed there. If you have a pension plan, you paid into both your pension plan and your Social Security benefits, you now receive Social Security benefits as well. So we just want to make sure you're making an informed decision, and one that will benefit you for the rest of your life and not necessarily the person you're working with.
Jerry, how do we reach out to you and the team at Ricken Financial?
Well, if you saved $500,000 or more, and we'd love to hear you. I know you're driving right now if you're in the car, so don't do this while you're driving unless you have voice activation. So call 314-207-6211, and we would love to hear from you. 314-207-6211. We have representatives standing by over the weekend. We can also just type that number in, save it. Call us next week. We always are here to just listen and schedule that first consultation. It won't cost you a nickel. It'll just cost you a little bit of time.
A little bit of time this weekend. That's all it's going to take. 314-207-6211. And I think it's worth noting as well that you've built out Ricken Financial, the office, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about talking to a financial advisor. It's like going into a doctor's office. It's cold. It's stale. Not like that at Ricken Financial. You've really positioned the office to be an extension of your home.
Well, we really have. And I have to give my business partner, Heidi, credit for that. My youngest daughter, Heidi, is my business partner. And we want it to be relaxing. And because when you're coming in and talking about your finances, it's like going to your doctor and getting naked in front of your doctor. Yeah. You're getting naked in front of us, not in a literal sense, but in a figurative sense, because you're sharing everything about your financial life with us. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that you're comfortable in doing so. So our surroundings are comfortable. We have a living room you can sit in before your appointment. We have drinks, we have, snacks, we have candy, we have, anything that makes you comfortable. We have chocolate that's our candy. So, everybody loves a chocolate.
True. And the whole naked thing, I mean, maybe at a client event party, I don't know. But listen, that's down the line. That's not right now.
That's right. Not your initial consultation.
That's our very first to shake hands and meet each other.
That's right. But just know that we're here to help. We're here to help. But the more information we have, the better able we are to provide you with the knowledge to make informed decisions. It's all about making informed decisions that benefit you and your family, and not the IRS, not an investment advisor, not anyone else but you. We want to make sure that you and your family are taken care of first and foremost.
There's some people that think I need multiple advisors for my retirement portfolio because, Jerry, I need somebody that only focuses on my taxes. I want somebody that only focuses on risk. I want somebody that only focuses on my income. That can be a dangerous way of thinking. Why is that a misconception in retirement?
A lot of people say, well, I want to have multiple advisors because I want to be diversified. Mm-hmm. And when they come to us and they show us that they're using 3 different firms for their investments, and we do a thorough analysis and look at it, we use an independent service and look at their overall portfolio. When I say their overall portfolio, this one, that one, this one, their 401k, we put everything together. And interestingly enough, they're less diversified by using multiple advisors than they are if they had all the investments in one spot. Right. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because a lot of those investment advisors use the same group of mutual funds or similar mutual funds that own the same kinds of investments. They own the same stocks. They all own Microsoft. They all own NVIDIA. They all own, you name the company. It's all in there. And all of a sudden, you're concentrated in very few companies as opposed to being diversified in lots and lots of different companies. So you need to be very, very careful if you are doing that, primarily because your risk tolerance may not be the way you're investing, because you're investing completely differently because you have so many irons in the fire, so many, cooks in the kitchen. And what we want is we'd like you to focus on a quarterback, a player coach, if you will, someone who can look at everything and wear all those hats. You mentioned taxes. We wear the tax hat. We wear the investment hat. We wear the risk hat. We wear the income hat. We wear the Social Security benefit hat. We wear all of those hats, and we bring all those hats into the huddle. And we say, okay, here, we're the quarterback. Here's what's going to happen in Social Security timing. Here's how your income plan is going to work. Here is how your investment portfolio is going to work. And here's how the taxes work on that investment portfolio. And here's what we should do in the future to mitigate taxes so that the IRS isn't your biggest beneficiary. I will tell you, folks, the IRS will be your biggest beneficiary if you're not careful. And taxes will be the most expensive thing you will have in your lifetime unless you start addressing them now. Right. And the way you address them is just by having a quick conversation. We can start that conversation. All you need to do is call 314-207-6211. If you save $500,000 or more for your retirement years, we'd love to start with that conversation. But it's all starting with a simple phone call. And just reach out to us because, we would love to have that conversation with you and see how we can benefit you.
That's right. I want to continue this conversation about some of the biggest misconceptions and focus on the 4% rule because it's been around for over 40 years now, but it still works. How is that a myth?
After 2000, 2001, 2002, 2007, 2008, after those huge corrections we've had, market crashes we've had in the past, people looked at the 4% rule and said, this may not be the right way to work this. Mm-hmm. First of all, let's talk about what the 4% rule is. The 4% rule, early on, they said, whoever it was, an analysis, they performed an analysis and said, you can take 4% out of your portfolio without ever running out of your portfolio. Well, that may not necessarily be the case. I know that that's been adjusted through the years, and now they say maybe that's now down to 2.6%. Well, you have to have a huge portfolio if you need a lot of money, if you're only drawing 2.6% out to guarantee that you're never going to run out of money. And as you say, Mark, income is the outcome that matters most in retirement. So we never want you to run out of income. How do we make sure you never run out of income? We probably don't use the 4% rule because the 4% rule, that also gets in the sequence of returns risk. the sequence of returns risk. For those of you who don't know, it's when your earnings, when your rates of return happen. If they are negative early in your retirement and you're taking 4% out of that race of funds, that bundle of money that you've saved, and you're also losing money at the same time, that can destroy that portfolio. And you can run out of money a lot sooner than if you don't take that 4% rule and you put some protection in that portfolio to make sure that those market corrections don't devastate you. When you think about the 4% rule, say, okay, that's part of our history. The times have changed. The world has changed. The events of 9/11, the events of 2001, 2007, 8, the credit crisis we've had, all those events have changed the way we look at things now. And the 4% rule is truly an outdated rule. What you need to do is look at it from an individual perspective. If you're single, what do I want to accomplish in my retirement years? If you are married, what do my spouse and I want to accomplish in my retirement years? If you're married with children, grandchildren, what do I want to do for my family throughout my retirement years? Well, looking at the 4% rule probably isn't the best thing to do. Looking at it from a holistic perspective, putting an entire plan together, and knowing that each one of you is just like a fingerprint.
Yeah.
You're different than anyone else.
That's right.
Every plan is different. And I can't stress that enough. Every plan is different. It's tailored specifically to your wants, desires, needs, and outcomes. How do you want to be remembered in this life? Well, a lot of that starts with a phone call. And that phone call is at 314-207-6211.
One more for you before we put a bow on this conversation about the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. And Gerry Ricken, that misconception is, all right, I enjoy listening to this radio show, but when I make the phone call, I schedule that consultation, I'm really not going to sit down with Gerry Ricken. There's no way I'm going to meet Heidi Ricken Provost. This is probably a syndicated show that runs up and through the Midwest, probably a show out in Chicago or LA or Atlanta or New York. If the chances I actually meet Gerry Ricken are slim to none. How is that a misconception, Gerry Ricken?
Well, Mark, I will tell you, I'm not slim, but I am here. When you said the chance of meeting Heidi and I are slim to none, no, we are the people you will be meeting with. You'll either sit down with Heidi or I, and we will sit down and shake your hand, give you a hug if you're a hugger, because we're huggers,
right, and
just welcome you to the firm and just sit down and have a conversation and see if we're the right fit. One size doesn't fit all. I mean, Heidi always said, I've never fit in one size fits all clothing in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And so one size doesn't fit all. But having the opportunity to just sit down with people who are experienced at what we do, we help people retire every day. That's what we do. Hopefully you'll be retiring once, and one time is enough. And you want to make sure that you have enough information to make informed decisions, to make educated decisions on when to retire, how to draw Social Security, what does my investment portfolio look like, how do I withdraw my funds, what do I do with long-term care planning, how do I even look and begin at Medicare planning, because that's such a complicated thing. We want to relieve that stress. We want to just sit down, have the conversations, because you will be meeting with Heidi and I.
Right.
And if we don't know the answer, we're not going to bluff it. We're going to make sure that we find the answer for you and let you know what that is.
And the reason I bring that up about you will sit down and shake Gerry's hand, you will hug Heidi Ricken Provost, is because, there were years ago I was growing up, there was a local jeweler and he ran all these commercials. I'm here for you. When you call this number, you'll meet with me. Come in, help me be your diamond buying experience. I thought, all right, well, he's a hometown guy. But then I remember watching, and I specifically remember this, watching a Colorado Rockies baseball game on ESPN. And I saw his logo in the background in Mile High Stadium. And I thought, wait, no, that's my guy. No, he's supposed to be local. I thought he was only here in town. Oh, man, I feel duped all of a sudden. So that's when I say that, yeah, this radio show, it's local. They love St. Louis and the surrounding area. As a matter of fact, just to prove it real quick, we got a couple of minutes left here. Gerry, give me a couple of your favorite hotspots locally.
Well, one of my favorite hotspots is the Italian America Bocce Club down on the hill.
There it is.
We, you'll find me there most every Thursday, at least in the fall and in the spring, playing bocce with my friends. And I'm one of the few Germans that's in the Italian American Bocce Club, but we have a lot of fun. And almost anywhere on the hill is one of my favorite places, because the hill is such a treasured environment in our city. And just going down there and spending time and seeing your friends and seeing people that you've been playing And a lot of people call it bocce, but when you go down to the hill, it's Bolche. So
Bolche.
So
not going to get that information anywhere else than right here.
That's exactly right. Only here on Kicking with the Rickens. And I mean, there are so many places that I could name in St. Louis that are hidden gems and hidden jewels.
Yeah.
So, and we're blessed in this city by having so much corporate sponsorship. You know, Grant's Farm is a great family outing for lots of people. It's still free. You have to pay for parking, but our zoo is free. You have to pay for parking unless you park in the street. So there are lots of places around here that you can have a great time individually or with your family.
They live here, they work here, they play here. They are proud to support St. Louis, the families in the surrounding area. We invite you to reach out this weekend to 314-207-6211. Again, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com. Well, Jerry, as always, thank you for the information and the education this week. We are back next weekend, but before we get out of here, Gerry Ricken, take us home.
Every day is a holiday. Life is short. Laugh hard.
This has been Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
Tax preparation and tax advisory services are offered through Ricken Financial. These services are not offered by IPW and are not subject to investment advisor requirements. These services referenced are an outside business activity not offered through or supervised by IPW.